All right. What's good? God is good. Welcome to Thursday Therapies. I am your host, J.DIDIT. This is a podcast for all creatives, artists, poets, rappers, writers, activists in the Sacramento Community Therapy Session. Today I have Alonzo Cannon, a Black and Chicano Sacramento native. He is a poet that runs the poetry account Healed with Words. He likes to write about his relationship with God, politics, and mental health. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing real good.
Real good. We were just talking about how is your morning going?
It's so hard for me to wake up, honestly. It's especially during the winter months.
It is very difficult because it's dark, it's cold, it's gloomy, and who wants to get out of bed?
And the covers are so warm.
Right. I don't even want to get out of bed to turn the heater up. You know what I mean?
I have one of those electric blankets, so I'm
yeah, you definitely don't want to get out of bed. It's tough, huh? So how has your week been going?
It's been going good. I've just been I just got back into work. I work at an elementary school, so they just got back into school, so I've been working and just getting back to like the schedule because before I was so free and open to do whatever I want.
Enjoying yourself a little too much.
Yeah, exactly. That's the truth.
Right. But
yeah.
We deserve that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up. So, I'm very glad to have you on the show. It's been a minute. We've been talking about it, and I've been seeing you in the community and just loving your work. And I'm like, I got to get you on Thursday Therapies. And now that we're back up and running, I'm good to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
Okay.
I always have great conversation with you. So
every time. It's been dope. Every time. Last night was dope. It was such a good experience at the Sac Poets writing workshop with J. Rowe running it. I just went home feeling so inspired and in awe of everybody's writing and everybody that shared. It was just like amazing.
It was crazy because for a while I thought like, oh, I have writer's block. I can't write anything. Then when you get like in a group of poets who are just like letting ideas flow and like you get so inspired and you just want to not necessarily push yourself, but like just not be so critical of yourself.
Exactly.
And just let things flow.
And just let it flow because that's the hardest part is like the critical part is because it's not like writer's block, but it's just like you getting in your own way of writing anything because you could write all day long. It's just like us getting in our mental and be like, that doesn't sound good. And then just letting it go. But really, when you just let it go and let it flow, it just sounds so cool. I love that, yes.
I feel like I write a lot of my best stuff alone. I feel like I write the most healing stuff with other people.
Right, because there's so much inspiration. You could just bounce so much shit off of each other. It's just beautiful.
And when people like keep you accountable, like one of the poems I did recently, it was like a poem about my relationship with God, and this person didn't even believe in God, but they read my poetry and they're like, "You think that's how God sees you?"
Wow.
And it was so powerful because it was like, oh, I saw God as like punishing me or hypercritical, and then it completely changed the trajectory of where the poem was going. And like that accountability is really what like iron sharpens iron.
Right, you got that right.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Oh, beautiful. So as you know, this is Thursday Therapies, a discussion on mental health awareness. I want to ask you some questions about mental health and get your outlook.
Cool.
So at what age were you when you heard the term mental health, or when did you know really what mental health was?
I think I was introduced to mental health like at an early age because, I don't know, looking back at it, I was such like a gloomy kid. Like even since like elementary school, not necessarily like sad all the time, but like always caught up in emotions and like overwhelmed. And so I went to elementary school therapies, and I went to a bunch of I started therapy early. And then I took a long break, and then I got reintroduced to it in high school by self-advocation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were like, something ain't right, I gotta get some help.
Yeah. I think it was based on like my home environment and just it was weird because everyone around me would like, you're such a happy kid, but there would be moments where it's just they could see the realness, the truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing how you can really recognize that at such a young age, even through high school, because we're running from all those emotions and we're running from help, and we're so filled with different emotions we don't even know what to do. But for you to be able to be like, something ain't right, and to go seek help at that young age, that young tender age, that's amazing. That is amazing, because for me, I had to go to counseling and all types of different things, but I'm like, this is punishment. Why the fuck do I have to go tell somebody my business? Because that's another stigma. Like, I learned, don't tell your business to other people, or if you let them know this, they're gonna take you from me. And if you let them know what's going on with you or what's going on in the house, they might take you from me. And that's why I was like, I'm not talking to these people, it's punishment, but I had to do it. It's like it was mandated, because I was on probation as a young kid, because I was in so much stuff that I had to do it. And it's just like, that's very, like I said, it's amazing that you were seeking that help and not running from it at such a young age.
I think it was almost like at a crossroads, because I wasn't getting in trouble necessarily, but I was just so in a deep sadness, depression, wasn't going to, like, I was getting truancies, I was getting all this, and my parents were confused. They were like, what's going on? And there was some issues of like ego and not wanting to, like with my father, not wanting to put me in therapy because he didn't want something wrong with his son.
Right.
But having to like literally beg my mom to like, please let me find help, was because I was such a, like, if not, I could have been in a situation where I wasn't here in this life anymore.
Right.
So, it's hard, but I feel like God in so many ways has like put me in a path to continue to keep going. And I think without those moments, I wouldn't be here at all, without him saving me,
That's amazing. You are a true blessing, seriously, and I appreciate you for coming on this show and sharing that with me, because it is very difficult. And then people will look at you and be like, you're fine. Look at you on the outside. You're fine. Like, man up. Do what you need to do and live through life. But for you as a young man, to be able to seek that help and ask your mother for help and going against what your father said, that's commendable. Seriously, like, there's so much of a stigma on mental health, especially on young men, that you need to toughen it up. Boys don't cry, and get your shit together.
Black people don't go to therapy,
right,
go to church.
Right.
Right. All the same.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm glad you're able to sit here and say that on this show, because that's the whole point, is therapy helps. Check yourself, check your mental health, advocate for yourself. Whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, Indian, check yourself, check your mental health. It does not, it does not discriminate. Mental health does not discriminate. So, you got to be your own advocate. You have to be the CEO of your mental health. That's amazing that you learned that at such a young age, to be able to trust it outside of your family, because your family's saying, don't do this, man up. But you're like, no, I want to get help.
I think I saw, like, not necessarily all my family, but like the path they were going down. Right. And I didn't want to repeat cycles. I didn't want to, my like big thing now is like to break generational chains and trauma.
Amazing.
So I've been in therapy on and off since I was in 15 or 16, and just working on those like processes and doing that. It's been difficult. It's honestly like it's easier to go without therapy than to go into therapy. It'll break you down. Yeah.
It'll break you down and bring everything out to the surface, but at the same time, you're healing that. It's not going to be like that forever. And then you're getting all the tools necessary to be able to cope with that on a daily basis, because life happens every day, and the shit doesn't just go away because you're helping yourself. It's just teaching you to manage those things and to, do better coping skills and have healthier outlets.
Exactly.
Wow, that's cool. So, Did you ever have to witness any mental health disparities or issues in your home or in the community, and how did it make you feel? And,
I think, well, like the relationship with my father has like ups and downs. He's not in my life right now, but I saw a lot of like patterns, and I'm going to school to try to be a therapist, to try to work in the psychology field, and I could definitely see like undiagnosed, obviously, because he never advocated for himself to get diagnosed, but bipolar,
right,
depression,
right,
OCD,
right.
witnessing all these as like a young child.
Wow, so close to you in the home. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's so close to us anywhere in the environment, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
our community, in the home. And how did that make you feel?
It in hindsight, it made me. I feel like if I knew what was going on, I'd be able to empathize better, or maybe not. You know, kids are, you know, have trouble understanding life as it is.
Right.
But I just felt like a lot of it was my fault. I internalized it as like, oh, these things were happening to my father, these mental challenges, and it's my fault. He's mad at me because it's me, and I think that led to like a whole another dynamic.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very tough for you to take on such a big burden, and you know that it's not you, and you know that, you know, we're all here on our own accord and we have to live through life. So do you still feel that way?
I definitely feel flare-ups sometimes, especially since he's not in my life right now. It's kind of guessing, but I try to think of it as like he was an adult when he had me. Like things that I did as a kid, I was a kid. Like I was a child. Like I didn't have the same responsibility as I do have now. And as an adult, I have to break those things down, and I have the responsibility to break those things down because you were raised by your parents, but now as an adult, I can choose whether I accept those.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah. No, that's deep. You know, so you're doing such a great job. Like you said, you're breaking those generational curses, going to school to be therapists, learning and healing, you know, yourself while you're going down the road of your journey, you know, and it's amazing that you're here. Like, I love that. I love that.
Praise God.
Praise God. So do you feel like the world's understanding on mental health has changed?
I think it's definitely, as I've grown up, definitely like from older generations, like we can see a real disconnect of like older generations and younger generations, like whole understanding of mental health. Some older generations still seeing it as weakness, seeing it as or like a lack or a decrease in mental health as like weakness, like laziness and all these things. But this newer generation, I think it's hard to say because there's so much like misinformation going out in the media age too. But this new generation also has a lot more empathy and understanding for people who are going through mental health challenges, and we see that, like, especially in a political climate, like I think the younger generation are seeing like people on the street and all these people who are put in situations and saying it's not their fault.
Right.
It's they've been put in situations and they need healing.
Right. Because we're all human and we're all trying to make it, you know, and babies having babies, you know, like mentally they're not all the way there, and then they're raising these babies and, you know, they just don't have the mental capacity to be able to, you know, raise the children right. And I know a lot of that happened before, and even now a lot of our parents just don't understand, you know, they went through disparities through their childhood, so they're just doing the best they can, and then their parents went through just, you know, had disparities through mental health and had to deal with it the way they could. So, you know, it's just like those, like you said, those generations of unlearned helplessness and not really knowing how to raise your child, you know, especially with mental health, because there's such a stigma on it. Like if there's something wrong with you, then you're going to go, you're going to get locked away, or you're going to get taken away, or, we just don't have that. It's like a real disease, and we're not going to have that, in our house. We're stronger than that. So
people need to be ostracized or isolated. It's,
right.
Yeah, it's
right.
sad.
It's very sad. So I'm just like, we got to continue to break those curses, and to be able to be on the show and tell your story and let more people know that, this is what I went through. Somebody might be going through the same thing, but you don't have to go through it alone. You know what I mean? Like, get some help, and they might need that from you or me or whoever else, to let them know that it's okay to get help, because even like I said, when I was growing up, I didn't seek that help. I ran from that kind of help because I was scared.
Right.
But it's okay to be scared and seek professional help.
Not just your friends, not just your church. It's because, professional help, these are trained professionals to like actually help with mental challenges that everyone faces. Right.
And they're there to do no harm. Like your friends, they might be biased, and they might, have judgment, and it's not, you can go talk to your friends about certain things, but if you talk to them about some things, you might leave them feeling worse, because they're going to put their emphasis on whatever it is you're going through, or what they feel like you need to do, and that might not be the right thing.
Exactly.
Sometimes that might lead you into doing drugs, or it might lead you into doing all types of other things, that's not what you went there for. You went there for some good advice, but wow. Yeah, no, that's good. I'm just like, I'm still amazed that you seeked out that help at such a young age.
It was a crossroad, like it was either gonna happen or not, and
wow.
Yeah, I think the night that really made me feel like I needed to seek help was, it was one night where I was just completely low. I was probably going through, like, I don't even know at the time, probably girl issues, homework issues, thinking the weight of the world is all on me, and really, I think hindsight, I'm like, you don't, like, half the issue, that was so small, but in the time it feels so big. And I like go out to the middle of my street, and I'm like deciding basically whether I'm gonna live or die. And in hindsight now, I like laid up to God, but like I was just bawling in the middle of the street, completely low, completely drained of any hope, and a white cat just came out of nowhere, in the, like, completely came out of nowhere, like was lit by the moonlight, and just like nuzzled around me, and like stayed with me, and like I just gotta believe like that's divine intervention.
Wow. Because
I don't know if I would be here without that moment. And I didn't even know, my dad raised me as an atheist. My mom was Catholic. I didn't even know about God.
Wow.
But he was always there.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad for that white cat to come to you. Seriously, no, I know what it feels like, to feel that low, like you just don't want to be here anymore, and you always feel like the world will be better without me, but God does have better plans for you, for me, for a lot of people, so that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. We kind of hit on this question, is do you think mental health is still stigmatized?
I think definitely so. I think there's definitely, it depends on the people you surround yourself with. Right. There's a lot of like, I think generally we think that mental health is like destigmatized and all this, but like in a generation of media that we see so many, if we ourselves accept like mental health is something we should care about, deem worthy to heal from and look at, we might be in our own bubble, in our own chamber, because we're surrounding ourselves with people who also believe that and accept us for that. But there's always outskirts, there's always, I feel like in this country, in the world, there's many people who are suffering, and they're alone because the stigma is still
they don't trust. They just don't trust. Like, they don't trust doctors. They don't trust therapists. They don't trust different races to know their business. And it's sad. And that's why I'm like, I love Thursday Therapies, because I want to have all creatives of all races and genders, to be able to come on the show and speak about their experiences with mental health, so that somebody that might be like them, or, somebody who follows them or can be encouraged by them to seek some, professional help. And sometimes you have to shop around. I know it's not as easy as, we make it seem, but you just have to ask the right people. And a lot of times, like, at school is a very good place to start. Like, for you at such a young age to be able to go to your school therapist, or even a teacher might be able to help. Those are safe zones. Those are safe grounds for people to be able to seek help. If you're at home and you don't know, I can't just go to the doctor on my own, or I just can't, go to therapy on my own. School is the first place that you should look, because those people, they're not trained. Teachers aren't trained in therapy, but they can give you resources to get the help you need.
Exactly. The resources are there. Yeah, I understand like how hard to even have the motivation, or it's and with insurances these days, like some insurances only cover like online therapy, or like the system's so confusing to navigate. And especially when if you're feeling with the depression, with the low,
it's easy to get discouraged and stop.
But I just encourage anybody to really like power through it, or surround yourself and be vulnerable to people you're surrounded by who can help you go through that battle to get the advocation and help you need.
Right.
Because like I, without like confiding in my mom when I was younger, or telling her I needed the help, she wouldn't.
Well, shout out to your mom for listening to you. Shout out to your mom for even, believing in you and taking those next steps to even, let you get some help. Because some are like, no, we ain't telling those folks our business.
Exactly.
We not gonna let them know our business. You just need to man up. Shout out to your mom for being there with you.
She's the absolute best.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So what is your outlook on mental health? We kind of already discussed that. And do you believe seeking outside therapy? Do you go to therapy today?
Yes, I started going to a new therapist. Lovely guy. My history with therapy has been good, but like you definitely have to find the right therapist, because I've had, I have like father issues, I have like deep abandonment issues, and like my first therapist that I ever went to was, and I have like being like biracial and black, like racism issues, being raised in like an all white community. So like I went to a white lady as my first therapist, and I felt like I couldn't express the racism that I was dealing with, because I was like, I've been unvalidated by so many white people who that the experiences I'm going through aren't real. If she does it, I'm gonna break down. So like hiding that, so I transitioned to a different therapist, found another therapist, and I was looking for like a black male therapist. And I've had that's why I want to be part of that community to fulfill that need. But one therapist I got, I could tell he was a cool brother, and he was casual, but he was almost too casual. I think it just felt like disingenuous how he was handling things. Like we only had like 2 sessions, and I can tell like the time was running up, but like I had to express something, and I could tell like he didn't have the mental capacity to. He just said like, "Oh yeah, for sure," and kind of dismissed it, and I was like, "That's not cool." And then he ghosted me. So.
Oh wow.
So that just like put a whole another dynamic of me like, man, my own therapist ghosted me. That's crazy.
Wow, no. But I stress that a lot. I always tell people, check yourself, check your mental health. But if it isn't right for you, then seek out other help, seek out a referral, or go to a different agency, or just keep asking, there's so many resources now online that you can get through your insurance. There's so many free resources through apps that you can use, and some might be, for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, just utilize those weeks. You might get something out of it that you never knew you needed,
Right.
So, like, it is tough, through insurance. They are going to send you to whoever your insurance covers. But if they're not right, you don't have to see them.
No,
If you're getting a bad vibe from them, or like you said, like you feel dismissed, and you weren't being heard, then you need to seek out another therapist. You need to really be able to, because you're going to therapy for you, not for them.
Right.
And they're there to just monitor you and help you manage everyday issues. And so it's very important for people to know that you do not have to be with the therapist if you don't really feel them. And you'll be able to know because you feel it in your gut.
Right.
And if you're not feeling heard, then definitely you need to move on from that therapist. And it's okay, it's okay if you go find another therapist. They're not going to get hurt.
No.
And their feelings aren't going to get hurt, but it doesn't matter what they have going on, because you're going for yourself.
Exactly.
So that's cool. So now you have somebody that you like.
Yeah, he's dope. He's dope. He's really
And he's
cool.
a male. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good for you. I'm glad you didn't just settle and be like, okay, let me just stick to a woman. But you continued your search in what you needed for your own mental health, to make you feel validated and to help you through your journey.
Because it's all about someone who makes you feel comfortable and you can confide in. I would, like thinking about like what I would want in a future profession and everything, being a therapist myself, like I want people to feel comfortable with me and just feel like they can open up and they can do the work with me if they wanted to.
Right. That's if they wanted to. And then there's so many different therapists for so many different, issues that, sometimes the therapist might be like, okay, you might need more help. And then they'll give you a referral, which that's okay. Don't get any hard feelings or feel down on yourself like, oh, there's something wrong with me. There's not.
Therapy's a marathon.
It is.
It really is.
Wow.
Mental health is a marathon.
It is. It is constantly on the race, constantly on the run, trying to figure it out, right?
Because it doesn't go away.
Never.
You just get stronger handling it.
Right. And that's what therapy's for. Therapy's good. You go to therapy, you get the tools that they give you, put them in your toolbox, hold on to them. You could take one out from one therapist, take one out from another therapist, with the ups and downs of life every day. Like I talk about is just getting here to this episode. You're on the road with a bunch of crazy drivers. Road rage is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, shop around for a therapist that works for you. I'm really glad that you continued to look for what you needed. And that's my whole point, is like bringing awareness to therapy and advocating for yourself and what you need. That's amazing. I love that. Okay, what am I saying right here? What are some coping skills that you use to help get you through the day on a daily basis? You said you have a hard time getting up in a season, like a seasonal.
Yeah, seasonal depression.
Thing.
Yeah.
And I have the same thing, and it's very hard for me to get out of the bed. Very, very hard. But I still am like, mentally, it's like mind over matter, almost. But sometimes the matter takes over my mind, and I'm like, I ain't getting out of the bed. But what are some coping skills that you do to get you through the day, get you up out of bed?
Sometimes it's like mental gymnastics, but I've been diagnosed with ADHD and bipolar too. So like navigating that has been like a whole new journey recently, and so for the ADHD, like a lot of list making, like before I came here, like I would not have gotten done with half of the stuff I was done if I didn't write down, like as simple as like brush your teeth, like having like whiteboards everywhere, like just to make sure you're on track. And sure, it like raises my anxiety a little bit, but I feel so accomplished once I mark that check mark, get it done, and then I can finally be at rest instead of being tormented with the thoughts of like, oh, what should I start with first, being frozen. So that's been helping a lot.
That's amazing, because I can't even get to writing the list yet. I'm like, I got so much stuff in my mind, but I haven't even got to writing it down yet.
It's hard. No, I definitely feel like the pause from like, oh, it's going to take so much mental effort to write that list.
Oh, Lord. And I got a million things in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got so many things I got to do and get done, and I'm all over the place. But I'm just like,
I try to break it down to like, I can always add more to the list, but let me always do 3, and then the the fourth bullet point is make a new list.
Oh, nice.
So you can do at a time, but like if I do a whole 20, which
That
I
raises
have
your
done,
anxiety.
raises
Out the
anxiety,
roof.
I'm frozen.
Right.
I'm
wow.
done.
That's a good skill. That's a good coping skill. I'm going to have to try that, you know, because my list always are like 10, 20. Then I'm like, I ain't get to it. I don't even pick that paper back up.
Another like mental gymnastics I've done is like it's hard for me to do stuff for myself, like especially when you have a complex or like have had a complex of like your self-worth is low and you don't have that confidence, so like doing stuff for yourself just feels like so taxing. But if you think of, I started thinking of myself as like that inner child that needed that support and help before, and like, and I work with children, like I love children.
Yeah.
Like it makes me sad when a child cries. Makes like I just want to help and support them. So like seeing myself as that inner child and being like, okay, and gentle parent that child into doing what they need to do, giving grace, giving acceptance to the faults, and
beautiful.
it gives motivation, like, oh, okay, I have to make my bed because I'm making it for him.
Right. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Wow. I never looked at it like that. I have kids of myself, and I think of them. I'm like, I got to get up and do it for them, but I never thought to do it for my inner child.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that changes a whole lot of things for me.
Because when I noticed, like, I'm better at schedules when, like, before I was better at schedules when I had a job, like, working early, I would get on the job. I was always on time doing what I need to do, but when, like, the school break I've had from the children, it's hard to, like, set own structure for yourself when you don't have to do something necessarily, but you should or you have to for yourself.
Right. Yeah, no, I struggle with that every day. But I'm like, you got to get up and go to the gym. You got to. Like, you have to.
You have to be selfish.
Yes.
You have to be selfish for yourself so you can fill
like
your
that.
cup to help others.
Yourself. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, what am I doing? Some other coping skills. I know you write.
Oh yeah, I've been noticing, like, so writing has always been a coping skill for me.
You journal?
Yes, I try to.
Okay.
I try to every day. It doesn't always happen.
Right.
But I journal. Poetry, like when have those high feelings of emotions, it's always a poem. It always comes out as a poem, whether it be weird, crazy, whatever.
Or a rap.
Or
you got to put some tunes to it. I know you do. I hear it in you.
I don't have that confidence yet, but I'm building to that.
Well, I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
But I've coped with writing for a long time. I think, like, ever since I started therapy, like 15, 16. And it's just been so good. But I've also noticed of recent, it's almost become like a vanity. Yeah. And almost a vanity. Like I'm supposed to do it for myself or my healing or like to praise God or stuff like that, but I'm being like caught in ego and swept away and almost using it as a rumination of own emotion. I notice I like write something down, and if it's like sad, I read it over and over and over again, and I don't think that's healthy. So I've been talking to my therapist. I've been trying to like let my writing just be for myself and like change that dynamic, because being in the community, you see so many dope, you almost get like a competitive like nature where you're like, oh, they make cool stuff. I want to make cool stuff. And almost like forcing yourself and like making it not a stressor when it's supposed to be something healing. Right.
I get that. I feel that sometimes too. And I'm just like, I'm tired of writing about sad shit. I don't want to write this sad shit no more. I'm so tired, but it just keeps coming out, and I'm just like, that's where my mind goes right now. And I'm like, okay, this season's gonna pass. I have to keep reminding myself, like, this season's gonna pass, you know, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't went through so many hardships this past couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I'm tired of writing this shit, but I'm like, I know I got to get it out. I know I have to get it out, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
better days are coming.
That's the truth. There's always a sunshine in the horizon.
Right, right. And I just feel like a lot of people are, you know, towards the end of that. Like, it was almost weird because everybody asked them, like, how's your holiday season? And everybody's like, surprisingly, it's been calm. So I'm like, it's been calm, you know, because it's been chaos for a lot of people, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, so the season of sadness is going to pass.
I got really sick during the holiday season.
Did you?
Yeah, I was throwing up, couldn't hold down anything. And when I get sick, it's ridiculous, but, well, it's not ridiculous because that's how I process things, and I need to give myself grace for that. But when I get sick, I get confused whether I'm actually sick or it's my depression.
Wow.
And sometimes I'm like, man, well, like, I get that, like, flare up of, like, ego again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like, I'm not even sick. I'm just, like, wasting time. Like, I have stuff to do. Like, why am I caught up in this depression? But no, I need healing. I'm, like, physically feel sick.
Yeah, that's God telling you, sit down, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, you
Be
know?
patient.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we always have to, you know, give ourselves grace to be sick, you know, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. Like, come on, you know, you wasted the whole day. You slept in, you know, like, but I'm like, you know, it's okay. Yeah. We're human. It's okay. We can have one of those days, 2 of those days.
Exactly.
Just don't make it 2 weeks.
Right.
You know, because that could easily happen at any given time.
And guilt and shame is the game. Don't really help nobody.
Right.
It will only prolong the feeling.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, that's the truth. So what can you tell our listeners to encourage them to seek mental health support? And I always say, check yourself, check your mental health. That's what I always say. You already know, you know. You gotta, of course, check your health. You gotta know, but if your mental ain't right, then you ain't gonna want to go to no doctor's appointment.
No.
You know, you're not gonna want to get out of bed. You know, so you really gotta check your mental health. You definitely gotta, you know, be mentally here to be able to get to taking care of your health. So I always think, you know, people really need to see what's going on in their mind, and that's why professional help will help you.
I so much advocate for people going to see help, even if you're not feeling like necessarily sad or like angry at a lot of things. Everyone has these emotions, these rising tides and going low and high, and to see, like, if you're not happy about a saying I love is, like, if you're not changing it, you're choosing it.
Right.
And if, like, you see something that you don't like in your life, try to choose is to fix it, or not necessarily fix it, but, like, improve upon it.
Right.
And we all have things we can improve upon, and I believe everyone would benefit from therapy. Absolutely. Would benefit from community therapy, there's a bunch of different versions of therapy.
Right.
And we all need it.
Right.
Know? We're all human.
We all need that safe outlet to be able to discuss what's going on in our mind, and that's why I recommend therapy, is because there's a no judgment zone. You know, you're going there for yourself. They're not going to sit there and have a bias against what you have going on, and they're not going to sit there and try to tell you what to do with your life. You know, they're just there for support. Like, they're not going to be your friend and, you know, be like, oh, well, this, that, and the other. You know, they're not going to have that judgment on you.
I would even, like, stress, like, a lot of people feel like they're a burden if they express their emotions.
Right.
And, like, going to therapy is so helpful because it's, like, it's literally a professional that's meant to, like, not, like, separate the feelings from receiving the information. So, like, they're paid to not feel those burdens or those weights as like maybe a friend or other would, like, that would worry about you. It's a professional relationship. Right.
Yeah, and you go into therapy and they just know what you're feeling is valid. We're all human. We all feel. We all got some fucked up feelings going on, you know, and it's hard to navigate and get out of those, you know, like you said, ruminating those thoughts. You know, you had a fucked up childhood, and you're going to continue to have a fucked up, you know, life if you keep thinking about those things that happened in the past. If you keep thinking about it, like, what was me, like, you know, I was just reading a book the other day, and it said So what? So what that happened to me? Now what's next?
Right.
You know, and it's not like in a negative way, so what? But it's just like, okay, either I can keep thinking about that and bring the negativity on in my life, and like I said, woe was me, and I'm sad, and this happened to me, but it happened 30 years ago. It happened 10 years ago. That's not here anymore.
Right.
You know,
You're
like
safe.
you got to move on from that. You got to move on from it, you know, and a lot of people don't think that. They don't know that, and it's really hard to get out of that, you know, because the enemy will sit there and keep having those thoughts pop up in your mind, and it's going to stay to your mind until you get help. And somebody's going to tell you, look, you don't have to keep thinking that. You can move on from that. It's okay to move on from that. You know, a lot of people don't know that it's okay to move on from that because they feel like that's part of their identity and who they are. It was then, but it's not anymore. It's not. Yeah. So this has been good. Yeah. So we can switch gears now and discuss your awesome craft. What have you experienced in the Sacramento poetry scene, creative scene?
So many amazing people.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got this off an Instagram ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally was.
Where you came here first?
Yeah, I came here.
CSSB. Shout out CSSB. We're recording. Actually,
the first time I even got like the idea of like going to open mics was Honey Nomad and Row.
Oh yeah.
In a coffee shop, I wasn't even writing necessarily poetry, but I wrote. My cousin Amir is a director, and I was writing something for his film, and I was reading it out loud, and I think it was Ro came up to me, and she was like, "I hear you spitting.
Okay.
I hear you spitting." And she was like, "You should go. There's a bunch of open mics in Sacramento. You should go check them out." And from there, I think it was like months separated where I was like, that was just sitting in the back of my mind, like, probably not. And then I get an Instagram ad, and I get here, and then I meet all these amazing
That's
people.
that white cat.
Yeah.
That Instagram was that white cat.
It's really God working His ways.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that happening? Wow.
Right.
And look at you now. Like I see you at Torch Club. I'm waiting to see you get on the scene. Get on that mic over there. It's wild over there.
It's wild.
It's wild over there. So
I'm like, I can barely, like, I'm a big guy. I feel like I can't squeeze in that little space there.
Right. You gotta make your way.
Yeah.
Shit. You gotta just jump on the stage and
yeah.
make your way. Yeah, no. And then yeah, so I've been seeing you around the scene. That's dope. So CSSB was your first open mic?
Yes.
Okay, and you hosted back in
it
was it November?
I think it was November.
Yeah. You had a whole bunch of people pull up. That was dope.
That was like the love I felt from the community, the love I felt from so many people. Like I feel like I was just some nervous, shy kid, like going to the back of the open mics, but like Cho really, like
I
she.
love Cho. Shout out Sac Poet Society.
Yeah,
Everybody be shouting Cho out. Cho, you hear that, right?
She just and Diane and they just introduced me to like everyone and like opened up an entire world where I was like, after the pandemic, I felt very lonely as like a young adult.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to a 4-year college or like a university. I was at junior college, just very lonely there. Yeah. Everyone's just trying to get out. And then I was like, how do I make friends? Like COVID made me like socially inept.
Yeah, wow.
And then sprung onto this community.
As many people pulled up to that open mic when you guest house, I couldn't tell.
There's so much love. And people from my church came too.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was so much love.
Yeah, that's dope. So, do you have any upcoming shows, or are you going to be trying to work and collab on something with some of the other poets in the community?
I have. I've been telling Al I wanted to collab with him.
Okay, GTFO. Shout out GTFO. Yep, Capital Cadence tomorrow at 1:00.
I'm definitely showing out there.
J Street and 5th.
Yep.
Show up.
I 2 nights ago I couldn't sleep, so I was walking around my neighborhood at like 3 a.m. and I wrote a whole new piece. It's real like political. It's real, I think, funny and angsty. But I'm excited to do that at Capital Cadence tomorrow.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yeah, show up, show your work. What did you want to work on? What do you want to work on? Like, are you gonna be putting a book out. I know I'm like encouraging. I hear you rapping. I hear you spitting them bars.
I did start my my friend Keaton. He's a producer and he makes a lot of music. He's been sending me some beats.
Okay.
I've been writing to some stuff. I've been recording some stuff. But I don't know if I'm ready to release that stuff.
You don't have to release it.
Yeah.
You don't have to release it. But
it's so
dope,
much
you
fun.
know?
It's so
it is
much
fun.
Yeah.
It is, and I see it in you. I do. I'm like, okay, who is this next young brother coming up?
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, that's dope. So, do you have any poems that you want to share? Would you like to share a poem?
Yeah, I can share a
Yeah.
poem. I'll do a sort of like mental health one,
Yeah.
so I can kind of show people aren't alone.
Yeah, people aren't alone. Check yourself, check your mental health. Start writing about it. Start writing about it and come to these open mics.
Yep.
You'll be surprised at how many people you will relate to. Yes, the poetry has been very therapeutic. This whole Sacramento scene has been very supportive, loving, kind, and it's just amazing how like that one Instagram post, right, and bring you into this healing circle. Seriously, that's what I feel like. It's like a healing circle. Like, once I started coming and saying what I was feeling on the inside out in front of all these people, I just feel like, you just can feel like it's almost like drinking water, your whole body being nourished.
Yep, and if you like share something vulnerable, there's always like there's genuine people in the community who's like, you want to hug, like,
Right.
and like there to support
Show
you and
so much
nurture
love.
and like, and it's
So much love.
It's so healing.
Yes.
It's so healing to know people care, like
Right.
legitimately care.
Genuinely care.
Yeah.
Like, not like your mom or, your high school friend. Or,
they don't have to.
They like, I know you, girl. All right, you done been going through that
Yeah.
or whatever, But no, they genuinely are like, are you okay? Or, like,
Exactly.
I feel what you're going through, because they've had similar experiences. And it's just like, those feelings are real.
They're so real.
Yeah.
They're so real, and everyone feels like you can think. I mean, in high school, I talked to a teacher after high school, and she was like, "Oh, you were always so happy, like this and that." And I told her like my home life,
Right.
and she was like, "I had no idea."
They never know.
So you have no idea what people are going through. You could see like the most successful, happy
Right.
person in the world and be jealous
Right.
of them that they're not going through, but you have no
They're
idea.
dying on the inside.
Exactly.
And you never know.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. So what you got?
Okay, I'm gonna read this one. It's untitled, but it's just about my whole mental health journey. A kid who just tried to tough it out, with bravado, try to act like cool, but in the inside he was dying.
Right. What everybody wants us to look is just toughen it up, right?
Yeah.
Be cool.
Exactly.
What society wants you to be. Right.
Riding my whip with luxury jewels, scenic, real violent, clock temp with them government tools. Not either red blue pills choked down Kool-Aid with a sip. Now that bitch still strapped to the side of my motherfucking hip. Looking stoic, trying to act real cool. Be patient, the world gonna end real soon. I've been trying, for real I've been trying to try. I swear my mind's a sundown town when the sun rests. Nigga, you best take shelter in your vices or shit about to be real. My thoughts race like a string up crude trying to get my black ass out of town. Dissociation is my home. I'm at a breaking point, the roach of a puffin' blunt. I'm so tired and wired, men open wide for the fire that comes from using steel as a jawbreaker. Life feels so inconsequential, feels like I'm a mistake, like mine was accidental. My plan B has always been to get in the doors of my Lincoln Continental and drive off. I'm crying right now, thought this battle would end by now. Life feels so long when you've been battling the urges to swerve off since you've been 15. Just praying for some type of dream, some type of peace.
Oh my gosh, see, heal with words, yes. Yes, that is so deep, wow. That just opens up, like, it shows me your journey, everything you just talked about, like, I see that in your writing, and that's amazing for you to put it on paper and be able to share that with me, like, thank you so much, Alonzo.
Thank you for giving me the space.
It's been so good, yes. And I can't wait to hear your raps. You know, I love your poetry. I do. I love seeing you every time I pull up and you're there. You know, it's refreshing to hear your stuff because it's so raw and so real, and getting to know you on a deeper level has really opened my eyes. You know, up to your story and your poetry.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Thank you for giving this space for artists, and
Right.
it's just so important because I feel like a lot of artists have a tortured soul.
For sure.
And we all feel like we're alone in we're in our own headspace. But like this podcast, I was listening to Cloudy's.
Yeah.
It was a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
another one, and I was like, man, like this is proven that like we are all working.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's working hard, and Sacramento is showing up and showing out because I see so many artists there's shit going on every night.
Uh-huh.
I can't make it to everything.
No,
but
yeah.
There's
I'm
shit
in Rockland, so
right.
I gotta.
Oh, yeah, there's shit in Rockland going
Yeah.
on, but there's shit going on every night, and I see so many dope people just on the grind, hustling. But I know like this shit, it gets tiring, and it's like it's a rat race to try to get to the top, and you know, people are hurting on the inside.
Right.
You know, even though we're out here working, like you said, like what society wants us to do, and running, you know, trying to make a buck and all this, you know, but people are dying on the inside. Their mental health is not all the way right, you know, and I see a lot of people, you know, using substances and you know, to trying to cope, and I can see it on them, you know, some certain people, and I'm just like, get some help, you know, get some help. Like we all put on a face and go out there to the public, but on the inside there's stuff going on in there, you know, and that's why I wanted to create this outlet for people, you know, to bring more awareness that it's okay. You know, we don't have to be perfect. We could be fucked up and go do what we got to do, but at the end of the day, make some time for yourself and get some therapy. Make some time to put yourself first to get that help you need so that you can live to see tomorrow. You know, and continue to grind and hustle, you know, but you still got to take that time out for yourself, you know, and heal from childhood trauma, or heal from, you know, past experiences that you've had, or heal from shit that happened today or yesterday, you know, or be able to manage and cope with today.
Exactly.
You know, we don't always have to get up and go, like you said, you know, some days we could sleep in.
Yeah.
You know, some days we could just lay down, you know, it's okay. We can take those mental health days.
And you don't have to punish yourself.
At all.
Like,
feel guilty at all. Don't feel guilty at all.
Shame, guilt. Oh, what is that? What is that? Is that serving you?
Not at all.
No.
It's just debilitating you even more, like, you know, to make the next move. So next move should be check yourself, check your mental health. Check it. So where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Heal With Words. It's without an I. I know that's confusing for people. They were like, heal what the heck words? But no, it's Heal With Words without the I. I'm going to create a YouTube channel with the same name, and then I have a TikTok, same name. But yeah, I make video content.
Okay.
I'm going to start making music content.
I love it.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. No, seriously, just do it. You know, I hear it in you. I believe in you. I do. Yes. Okay, well, that's it. That's the end of the show. Check yourself. Check your mental health. Thank you, Alonzo.
Thank you.
All right. Let me end it.
That was awesome. You have such a huge...